This is KGW News at 11.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news here at 11. Police have declared a riot during a protest in North Portland. It's happening right now outside the Portland Police Union headquarters on North Lombard. Police are asking protesters to leave the area. They are using CS gas, a form of tear gas. And this is new video just into our newsroom from our photographer who is on the scene. He had to leave the area after his vehicle was vandalized. This protest started at Peninsula Park this afternoon before demonstrators marched to the police union building. Portland's contract with the police union expires tonight. The city council is set to vote tomorrow on a one-year extension after the pandemic delayed bargaining talks. It is also worth noting legislators banned the use of tear gas from police just recently, unless in the case of a riot. And again, they have declared a riot tonight in North Portland. We will keep monitoring this scene for you. Now to the latest on the coronavirus crisis in Oregon. A statewide mask mandate is about to take effect tomorrow. That means masks will be required in public indoor areas like grocery and retail stores, as well as lobbies and public restrooms. Today, Governor Brown also signed a bill to extend a temporary ban on commercial and residential evictions until September 30th. Landlords cannot evict people who can't pay, and renters have until next March to pay back rent without penalty. The governor also extended her COVID-19 state of emergency declaration until September 4th. Today, Oregon health officials also reported 181 new COVID cases. That brings the total to almost 8,700 with 207 deaths. This graph tracks the daily number of new cases, and you can see those numbers have been rising in recent weeks. However, hospitalizations due to coronavirus remain relatively low. This chart tracks the daily number for the most part. There have been between 5 and 15 daily hospitalizations in June. Keeping this number low is critical for making sure the hospital system doesn't get overwhelmed. An urgent health warning in Newport tonight. A state expert is asking people there to stop all gatherings immediately. This comes after new results from the Trace COVID-19 project were released. It estimates about 360 people in Newport are infected with the virus out of a population of roughly 10,000. The city only had a handful of cases just a month ago.
Our results really do indicate that the virus is relatively widespread in the population, and that's so this is the highest prevalence that the Trace project has found by far.
The Trace project also tested in Bend and Corvallis and found infection rates that were 10 times lower there than in Newport. Oregon State University students have been helping, going door to door to test people randomly to try to discover the true scope of the virus. While Oregon's cases are rising, we still have a relatively low count per capita when compared to the rest of the country. Nationally, today, Dr. Anthony Fauci painted a concerning picture. He believes the U.S. could see as many as 100,000 new cases per day. He says it's up to Americans of all ages to take personal responsibility to keep that from happening.
We are now having 40,000+ new cases a day. I would not be surprised if we go up to 100,000 a day if this does not turn around.
26 states are already seeing a rise in cases. This also comes as the European Union reopened its borders to 15 countries, but not the United States, citing the coronavirus outbreak here. The U.S. has almost 2.7 million confirmed cases with 129,000 deaths. Many school districts around Oregon and Washington are hoping to have kids back in the classroom in the fall, at least some of the time. But what if there's an outbreak or the pandemic is too out of hand to do that safely? Today, Oregon officials released a broad contingency plan. Schools would adopt a short-term distance learning model in the meantime. Kids would basically go back to learning remotely for 4 weeks, while schools then decide whether to keep them at home, bring them back, or do some sort of combination of both. Ultimately, though, this will vary by district. You can read more about the plan on kgw.com right now. New information on the I-5 Rose Quarter Improvement Project. A nonprofit focused on racial justice has withdrawn its support. Some city leaders have followed suit. But as KGW's Mike Benner reports, ODOT still plans to move forward with the project.
Plans to expand a stretch of I-5 in the Rose Quarter suffered a major blow Tuesday. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler withdrew his support for the project. He explained his decision during a special city council meeting Tuesday evening.
ODOT has not met our goals around community and economic development or climate.
Even more notable is Albina Vision Trust withdrawing its support. The nonprofit released a statement saying in part, "Throughout the country, countless freeway projects have left an ugly legacy of ripping through primarily African-American communities who suffer the harm and experience none of the benefits. The Albina Vision Trust saw an opportunity to work with ODOT and partners to chart a different path forward. We made this decision to disengage from ODOT today because we refuse to endorse projects or processes that do not align with our commitment to creating a thriving community that centers both Black life and Black prosperity."
Watching them step away from ODOT's project today was very reaffirming, and I'm so grateful for their leadership.
Aaron Brown is an organizer with No More Freeways, a coalition that from the start opposed the more than $700 million plan that would add merging lanes on both sides of I-5 between Interstates 405 and 84, among other things. Brown says Albina Vision Trust walking away from ODOT and the project is commendable.
This is exactly the sort of community-driven leadership that prioritizes frontline communities, that represents Oregon's racist history and the injustices that our community has been built upon. It's time for us to move in a different direction. It's time for us to prioritize investments that heal our community.
The same community Mayor Wheeler pledges to look out for going forward.
I will look forward to collaborating with Transportation Commissioner Udaly to prioritize congestion pricing strategies for our existing freeways within Portland, ensuring that we're doing so in a way that's equitable and prioritizes low-income drivers to reduce traffic and help everyone get where they need to go.
All right, you're probably wondering about ODOT's take on these developments. They released a statement acknowledging that historic transportation investments caused harm to the African-American Albina community, and they're committed to doing business differently. As far as where this project stands today, ODOT says it is not on hold despite this notable loss of support. I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
New here at 11, give blood and find out if you've had COVID-19. That's the thought behind a new effort from the Red Cross. It's teaming up with local businesses for blood drives, but also offering donor tests for COVID antibodies. Photojournalist Richard Gordon brings us the story from Trail Distilling.
We are at Trail Distilling here in Oregon City. We're the first distillery and the first city since Prohibition. We are hosting our second blood drive since COVID-19 hit. And we thought what a great opportunity to give back to those who need it most at this time and help the Red Cross.
There's temperature checks that are mandatory prior to coming in. Face masks are also required by donors. The whole time, social distancing is still in effect while they're on the beds. People are 6 feet apart.
I came here to donate blood. It's been a long time for me. They were out here a few months ago and I decided it was a good time.
Well, as of recently, what we're doing is it's pretty exciting. We've seen a surge of people coming in because when you make the donation, we are now testing for the antigen for the COVID-19.
It's packed. We are great. We have fantastic volunteers here with the Red Cross and wonderful people that have donated.
It was extremely convenient to do the questionnaire and the kind of the intake process. Having the relaxed time on the table is kind of nice.
Come in, enjoy, wherever our donations are. Come to the local businesses, and after you're done, get to know the business owners and keep coming back to save lives.